So shortly after being pardoned for crimes in the Capitol?
Well, I was here on January 6th. And it was not exactly a Lincoln moment for America. Here's what I saw. I saw a protest that turned into a riot. I didn't see an attempted insurrection. I saw a protest that got out of hand. I probably would have done things differently than President Trump did. I understand his point of view. I think he feels that people who participated in that protest, which became a riot, were punished excessively because of their politics. I understand that. I'm not saying it's true or not true.
All right, guys, welcome back. If you just watched that clip, you already know why I had to react to this one. That's Senator John Kennedy fielding questions from reporters, and honestly, this is the kind of straight talk we need more of from our politicians. In under a minute, he covers DI policy, the Hegseth allegations, the January 6th pardons, and somehow still gets me laughing about an airboat skimming across snow. That's a masterclass in handling the press. Stick around, because in the full reaction, I'm breaking down why his take on merit-based hiring hits different, why he's not afraid to say he'd have done things differently than his own party's president, and why this kind of honesty is rare on Capitol Hill. If you're new here, subscribe, hit like, and let's watch the full video. I'll be right back with my breakdown.
Tell me who you are.
Grace, our CBS.
Okay, what's your question?
Do you have any reaction to federal DEI employees being put on leave at the end of the day?
The federal DEI employees being put on leave?
Yeah.
I think the American people have spoken very clearly that that the best way to stop discriminating against people on the basis of race or gender is to stop discriminating against people on the basis of race and gender. The truth is, the American people don't think about race or gender nearly as much as some folks in Washington want to pretend. They think more about merit. They think about character. They understand that souls have no color, and most Americans approach race and gender in a commonsensical way. They think, to a bear, we all taste like chicken. In the past, I personally don't believe that race or gender should be used to either help a person or to harm a person. The past 4 years under President Biden, it was the exact opposite. And I think what you're going to see under President Trump, reacting to the feelings of the American people, is to go back to a race-neutral, gender-neutral system based on merit.
Do you have any concerns about the allegations made in the affidavit about Pete Hegseth from his former sister-in-law? Have you had a chance to review that?
I've seen this movie before. I saw it in the Kavanaugh hearings. The author of the affidavit submitted the affidavit and said she wouldn't take questions. I noticed that she didn't present herself at the hearing to be examined, and Mr. Hegseth has denied it all.
Senator, some of the pardoned January 6th rioters are planning on coming up to the Hill this week and doing tours and getting tours from members. Do you think it's appropriate for them to be coming and visiting so shortly after being pardoned for crimes in the Capitol?
Well, I was here on January 6th. And it was not exactly a Lincoln moment for America. Here's what I saw. I saw a protest that turned into a riot. I didn't see an attempted insurrection. I saw a protest that got out of hand. I probably would have done things differently than President Trump did. I understand his point of view. I think he feels that people who participated in that protest, which became a riot, were punished excessively because of their politics. I understand that. I'm not saying it's true or not true. I would have preferred the president to look at each case individually, case by case, and separate out those acts of nonviolence and those acts of violence. And with respect to the acts of violence, to look at each case individually and say, well, was the punishment proportionate to the crime? President Trump chose not to do it that way.
Do you have concerns about them coming and visiting the Capitol this week?
I gave you the best answer I could. Anything else?
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much, sir.
Thank you. Don't take the rest of the day off.
Any plans to go check out the snow this weekend back home?
Yeah.
No, I've got to stay up here this weekend. But my people love the snow. Because we don't have any icing equipment or anything.
Yeah.
Our governor's told everyone to stay home, and they have. And in my state, when you're told to stay home, the first thing you think of is cocktails. So we're having a good time. My people are having a good time. I noticed there was a video on Twitter where, are you familiar with an airboat? Skims across the top of the water. Somebody got out his boat or her airboat, and they're skimming across the top of the snow. My people are very innovative, and they know how to have a good time.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, let's get into it. On the DEI comments, I liked that he didn't dodge the question. He gave a real answer. Discrimination based on race or gender in either direction is still discrimination. The "we all taste like chicken to a bear" line is classic Kennedy, folksy, but making a real point about how regular Americans don't obsess over identity politics the way DC does. He's saying merit should be the standard. Agree or not? He said it plainly instead of giving a press-trained non-answer. On the Hegseth affidavit question, this is where I think he showed real restraint. He pointed out a key fact. The person who submitted the affidavit refused to take questions and didn't show up to be examined. That's not a small detail. That's basic due process. He's not saying nothing happened. He's saying let's not convict someone in the court of public opinion off an unexamined document. That's a fair, measured stance, especially when allegations alone can end a career before the facts are sorted out. On January 6th, this is the part that impressed me most. He didn't take the easy partisan route. He was there. He called it a protest that turned into a riot, not an insurrection, but also not nothing. Then he said something I wish more politicians had the guts to say. He would have handled the pardons differently. Case by case. Separating nonviolent protesters from people who actually committed violence, and making sure the punishment matched the crime. That's not towing a party line. That's a guy thinking independently and saying so publicly, even about his own president's call. And then the snow story. I have to mention it. The first thing you think of is cocktails, line, and the image of an airboat cruising over snow is the kind of down-to-earth moment that reminds you these are real people from real places, not just talking heads. What stands out about Kennedy here is that he's consistent, fair-minded on the hard issues, willing to break from his own side when he disagrees, and he actually answers questions instead of running from them. That's rare, and that's why I wanted to react to this one. Let me know in the comments what you thought, especially about the January 6th answer, because I think that's the one people are going to want to talk about. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.